Hello and welcome everybody to part 2 of this 3-part podcast discussing Godzilla King of the Monsters, where I am joined by my friend Eric Casey. In this part we will be discussing the human characters and the monsters themselves, excluding the new Mutos that will be in part 3. So, I hope you enjoy, sit back, make yourself some tea, and take a listen. There. So I guess this is actually kind of a segue into the human characters.
Okay.
So I think Lannister was a complete wasted character. He
was just there for generic
he was
villain
there.
purposes.
He was there for
generic antagonist.
Yes,
purposes.
he was there for star power. Like, he doesn't really do anything. It winds up being the wife that does things, and the wife's plan makes no fucking sense at all.
It makes no sense, but I think for a Godzilla movie, it works.
I can't sympathize with her because her plan makes no sense. She's literally saying, okay, I'm now going to murder billions of people.
You don't have to, though. At least she does get a redemption at the end. Spoilers.
I did like that. I did like that, how she had a clear choice to either get into the helicopter with husband and wife.
Yeah.
Or, run. And she chooses to run. She could have easily gotten into the helicopter, but I like the fact that her as a character, this is why I said on second viewing, I got it better.
Okay.
Because she knows she's responsible for not
only... fucked up.
She fucked up. She's responsible for killing millions upon millions upon millions of people. Let's face it, that's how many people are dying in this movie. Apocalyptic is this movie, which I like.
Ghidorah just being there.
Well, all of the kaijus in the Mutos and everything. The woolly mammoth one? Fuck yeah, woolly mammoth. But she chooses, she's like, I have to die. There's no other way around this.
Yeah.
I have to somehow redeem. And she does. She manages to lure Ghidorah away, and which leads to Ghidorah's demise.
Yep.
So I liked that.
Yeah.
I really did like that.
And the best part is that you can take it as a redemption, or you could still say fuck her.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You don't have to.
No, I'm saying
that's what I kind of like about
it. She redeemed herself. It doesn't mean that I like her.
Exactly.
She just made the right decision.
She made the right decision.
Yeah.
And at least we can give her that. But you don't have to, like her.
And I do, because the actress. I will say this: everyone in this movie acts the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's good in acting wise.
Yes.
In this film.
Absolutely.
And like the scenes where she realizes how much she's fucked up, or like how this is much worse than what she envisioned because of Ghidra. The scenes with like the daughter just looking down at her through the vent.
Yep.
And you just see her sitting there with like a cup of coffee and a laptop. And she's just, and then it cuts to a reverse shot, and she's just defeated.
She's like,
defeated, and a part of me was like, I wonder what she's thinking of. That's why I kind of want to read the novelization.
She lost everything. That's what she's thinking.
Well,
she lost her daughter.
Yeah, she's lost her daughter. Yeah, exactly.
She lost the world.
And I'm like, my first viewing, it did not pick up on like any of that.
Really?
Didn't. I don't know what the fuck. Was I high? I don't know. I also love like the bit of like her and the husband bickering in the Jeep. And the Hummer while they're driving, and then all of a sudden the guy's like, yeah, I'd run away from home too, and they're like slamming the brakes. What? Like, I don't know. There's stuff like that I like.
That part I liked. When they first bring when the Monarch first brings Mark into like the debriefing room just to debrief on like the monsters and everything, and he says like she put his ex-wife puts her her career and this whole thing about the monsters ahead of her family and all that.
Yeah.
It was actually like
which is a parallel to 2014, by the way. Yes. Which I appreciate.
Yeah.
That's a parallel because that's all Bryan Cranston did. Was put getting answers in front of his entire family, which is why his relationship with his son is strained. That happens in here. That fucking happens in Kong Skull Island. That's a theme in that.
Yeah.
And it carries over in this, and I appreciated that
a
lot.
I liked how I did like how they did that in 2014 and Skull Island. But this one
does it the best.
Yeah, exactly.
By far.
Exactly.
This one does it the
that's
best.
what I was trying to say. Like, this one, it felt really impactful when when he first said that, I'm like, it actually made me feel like oh shit.
Oh yeah.
Because that's like a generic plot line in generic Hollywood movie like these, but it actually has some weight behind it. There is
some weight behind. I think he's a little crazy. Like, he comes off as crazy at the beginning, like how obsessed he is at getting his daughter and everyone and everything back. I still think that's a flaw in the writing.
But you still kind of get that, though.
That could have been handled better, but I still get it. And I'm like, okay, but at least it's there.
But, like, when you see, like, when the daughter was, like, emailing the husband and everything, I do agree with you. Well, kind of crazy, but, like, because of that, and when he says that, you know, the wife puts the monsters and that research ahead of the family and everything.
In the beginning, they established that he's a coward because they lose their son, Andrew.
Yeah,
he's
the entire family.
Yeah,
besides the daughter.
Well, he constantly runs away.
Yeah,
and on top of that, they establish this beautifully because one, he's in the woods in the middle of nowhere taking pictures of wolves, and two, that also establishes that he knows pack mentality. He knows that whole idea. They named the thing the orca, for Christ's sake,
and it's also the environment cycle too. The predator and all. Oh
yeah, so like there's a bunch of levels in there that I really appreciate, and again. Unlike Ford Brody in 2014, who can disarm bombs and never disarms a bomb.
Disarm a bomb.
In this movie, they established that he knows pack mentalities. He knows like the whole alpha male, the whole sort of hierarchy of things, that plays a big part into his character, into the whole plot of the film.
Yep.
And I really appreciated that. Mm-hmm. Another thing, I have to say this, that I love about all of these movies. They don't shy away from killing big characters off mercilessly. Mm-hmm. Like in 2014, it was Bryan Cranston, right? And then in Kong Skull Island, they make it even worse. I mean, just about everyone who dies in that movie dies in like what?
Yeah.
in like the most weirdest, like bland. Well, not bland, but I mean this like nonchalant way. Oh, they're dead now.
Yeah,
but they do that for a reason.
Catches you completely off guard.
Catches you completely off guard.
But
and I like that.
To me, it adds to the realism.
Me too.
That's how it would probably happen to you.
In this film, they killed a French girl, Serizawa's assistant. Yes. When she gets it, I literally because she gets it in such a she screams bloody murder, crushed, and I'm like, oh, okay.
And then one of my favorite parts that comes after that is Ghidor's face, mouths just like arguing with one another.
Oh, I love that. We'll get into that. We'll get into that a little later when we actually get into the monsters of all this. But yeah, I love shit like that. Little details like that. I like
so appreciated and so overlooked in movies like these.
But like again, going into Serizawa I think has the best performance in this movie. Mm-hmm. Even though I think they wasted him as well. His death scene is good, but I thought that should have been the very ending, or something. It should have had more weight to it than waking up Godzilla. Or if it was split into two movies, have that be the opening. That's an opening. Kill I was
thinking about, because going back to what you said before, I was kind of thinking about like
instead of it being
as an opening
instead of it being the midpoint of a movie.
Actually, maybe the ending should have been him saying like let me go in.
Well,
cut to black right there.
Yeah, cut to black right there. That still ties into like Godzilla dying.
And then you pick out the first movie of him walking up the steps and everything.
And kill him in the beginning. Like that's an opening.
Yeah, there you go.
But instead in this, it's a middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a next progression of a plot. Which I mean, that scene is really good.
Yeah.
I really do like that. Throughout the entire thing, I've always liked that his obsession with Godzilla, and he finally gets to touch him. And I like the fact that they bring up, like, your vision will blur and everything like that. And I like that radiation's literally killing him. Mm-hmm. I really like that. And can I just say Godzilla took a nuke to the face? Godzilla took a nuke to the face and lived.
Well, he was, created by a nuke.
Yeah. But I really like that, which, by
also,
the way...
Did you get Search of Spock vibes? No, Wrath of Khan vibes? With Serizawa's death? It kind of reminded me of...
I wouldn't say that.
I kind of took it as like a Spock moment.
Well, because he doesn't say, don't grieve, Godzilla. It's not natural.
Live long and prosper, Godzilla. But,
I really...
But would you...
It's not like it's... Me saying that is...
I would say he kind of appreciated Godzilla more than like it was an obsession.
You're right. Obsession is a strong word. And I like that scene. I just felt like it didn't have the impact it should have. Just because of the structure of the film. It's a great scene on its own. It's a fantastic scene on its own. It's actually really powerful, and the music is great too.
Yes.
And
very the score for this movie is very underrated.
It's Bear McCreary. In my opinion, everything that man touches, he could fart into a microphone and make it sound good. But
heard it here first, folks.
Well, he does the score. He does the music to The Walking Dead, and like I have very mixed feelings about that show.
But the music
But
is
the
very
music
good.
is always good.
Yeah.
It's perfect for that show.
Yeah.
And he also did the music to like the Battlestar Galactica remake.
Okay.
And I'm like, that score's fucking phenomenal. I'm like, he's
Okay.
perfect for this. It was why I liked Alexander Desplat. His score, I thought he was perfect for Godzilla 2014 as well. I thought the music score for 2014 was very good.
Same.
I mean, it's not Pacific Rim good, but I don't think anything could be Pacific Rim good.
Hey, you take what you can get, especially the way Hollywood is nowadays.
Oh, absolutely,
right?
yeah. But
I agree with you. It's a great scene. And I thought it was impactful. I thought it was powerful. But I do agree with you though, with a little more of a setup, like you said. Like how we were saying, where it's like
things just happen in this movie.
Yeah.
Well, like a lot of the scenes just happen because this is what's happening. That sounds so horrible, but I mean, they just sort of happen.
Well,
that is another example of it just happens.
No, you're exactly right, because like how we were saying, like the pacing, it goes through.
This is
scene.
essentially.
It's a breakneck pace, and if it.
This is essentially a chase movie, a giant chase movie.
Yeah.
Except instead of us being in front of running away from them, we are the people chasing.
Yeah.
Which is usually the other way around.
Yes.
That's essentially what it is.
That is a good way of putting it.
And so instead of them building up that Serizawa's going to die in this, he just does because that's the natural progression of the plot.
Yeah.
And that's my issue. My issue with it. There's another thing that I was going to mention that was. Oh yes. The characters throughout the entire movie keep harping on radiation. Radiation. Okay.
Yeah.
You know when that bomb explodes to revive Godzilla, and the submarine then surfaces, and then everybody walks outside of the submarine,
but
and then the rain starts falling on
But
them?
to be fair, the radiation was 600 miles down underground in the earth.
But dude, the Hollow Earth, man. Fuck that character. Fuck that character so hard. But anyways, so they walk
But he
outside.
did act well.
So they walk. Yes, he did. But
He had good line delivery.
When they surface, they open up the hatch to walk outside as it's raining on them because of the atomic bomb that just went off, putting water down on them. And I'm like, no!
Or
You're gonna die.
Or it was dramatic effect for the rise of Godzilla, or
But you're gonna die.
they
Because
did it just to hide the special effect a little bit.
normally I wouldn't complain. I'd just say, fuck it. Just have fun. But the problem is they made it a huge deal with Serizawa's death. He dies because he's being exposed to so much radiation. And I'm like,
Yes. No,
yeah,
I agree.
They would
I agree.
they would die. And
I
then on
didn't
top
think
of
of that,
that,
honestly.
Godzilla shows up, and I'm like, they're dead. They're dead. They get this close to him. I'm
Yeah.
like, you're dead. You're dead if not within
yeah,
3
'cause-
days, or you're dead within 3 days or a week. And you know what's going to happen to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you exactly what's going
That's
to happen.
very valid
to you.
because then the next scene he's going through a freaking heartburn meltdown.
Yeah, exactly. First off, every character in that scene would have been dead, just dead.
Yeah.
Because here's what would have happened, ladies and gentlemen, if this was a realistic portrayal of Godzilla, which is what I was doing in my series. I make this a huge part that people can't be around Godzilla or like in the facility for more than 30 minutes, or you're dead. You're just dead.
You basically
so
end up
irradiated.
you basically end up like the guys at the end of Last Crusade. No, Raiders. Raiders.
Oh, I was gonna say Chernobyl.
Okay, that's fair too.
Because that miniseries is amazing.
That's fair.
But anyways,
You get the point though.
so here's what happens. So
Tell
you
me,
get
in
something
detail.
called acute radiation sickness, where all of a sudden you feel very sick and you throw up. You tend to throw up and you have insane diarrhea. It's because your body's like, what? and it's like cells are dying and everything like that.
Yeah.
You then go through what is called the latency period, which is about a day to 2 days, where you actually feel like you're getting better. You're not. You're not. You're getting much worse because your cells start imploding and dying. So first, your bone marrow starts to die, which is excruciatingly painful. Mm-hmm. Then you start getting covered in burns from head to toe, and your skin you basically start melting from the inside out.
Fascinating.
And it's excruciatingly painful. And because you're melting, they can't give you any pills and can't give you anything to down the pain. So if this was a realistic portrayal of Godzilla, everyone would be dying just like that, which to me has a lot of dramatic potential, but whatever. But Oh, that would be dramatic potential wasted. All the people who went up against in Monarch now are like dying of cancer.
You should get a. Hello, puppy.
We have a guest.
We have another guest. You should give Bethesda a call and swap their dragons with giant lizard monsters.
Fuck Bethesda. I know Fallout 76.
I know.
What do you think of the daughter?
I thought she was great.
I thought I was going to hate her. I thought I was going to hate her.
11 from Stranger Things. She does a good job in that.
She's a great actress. I thought I was going to hate her because she's a kid in the movie.
Have you seen Stranger Things?
No, I haven't.
Well, that explains it then, because she's a very good actress.
Oh yeah, no, she is. But it doesn't matter.
You should watch Stranger Things because her performance makes Stranger Things.
What I was worried about was that she was going to become a Hollywood kid, in which they always act older than they really are.
Well, she's not there yet.
And,
she's still on the young side. She's.
Well, no. They don't write her as she's still that age, but they just make her sound not like a kid.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay, I see what you mean.
And I was really worried that they were going to do that.
That's fair.
No, throughout the she has some mature moments, but most of the movie is her screaming and crying, and like during the scene where she actually does something, to progress the plot.
She's a very good emotional.
Absolutely.
Actress.
And like when she's first off, I love the decision that when she runs from Ghidorah, she runs home.
Yes.
That is such a kid thing. Mm-hmm. Run for the familiar. I loved that.
Yes.
I also love the fact that she's screaming fucking bloody murder. Like the fucking 3-headed monster dragon is chasing after you.
And then stares at him face to face.
And so I like the fact that she acted like a kid.
A kid.
Yeah.
A rebellious kid. Fuck you, giant monster.
I really like that.
But again, that also goes back into like the alpha male thing, humans being alpha, blah 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 blah. Yeah.
Now, I will say this though. Speaking of kids, exactly. Speaking of kids, I hate the fact that during Rodan's attack scene, the kids live. Like the mom she's running, and then the mom's on one side, and
but
the
it was
kid's on the
great scene.
You know what would have really sold that if dead.
Yeah.
On screen.
I agree. I do agree with you there.
To me, like on Shin Godzilla where they killed a kid right on screen, which he did that only because he hated the kid sequence in 2014. I love Hideaki Anno. He's such a troll. But in this I would have been like, that would have raised the stakes like a bajillion. And then the scene where the Helios helicopter is like, we're gonna get it, there's kids on board. And I'm like, fuck off. Fuck off.
But it was a great scene. That besides that part,
I did like how they just said, drop the thing on the gate.
No, what are you doing?
I like that. Yeah. I did like that. Yeah. They just looked. Jim was making a joke saying, just jump up and down on the doors really fast and see if it breaks open. And then like I looked at him and I said, well, and then he started laughing. I was like, yeah.
I kind of thought that too, honestly. But then But I do agree with you.
Which I love that ship, by the way.
Yeah,
I love the Argo.
Yes,
I love that thing.
Yeah, the ship was
it was really cool. I'm glad
the whole thing flying and right before that, flying into the Ghidorah tropical storm. Oh, and then you see them in the shadows, and you go underneath them.
I love how like because he creates the storms, you see like the lightning, you just get flashes of him, and I'm like, I love that. That made him terrifying, and I'm like, that's what he should be.
Yes, those are the moments that made me all giddy.
Yeah, those are
Rodan
with
the
too.
like the volcanic embers coming off his wings.
No, the one that made me giddy for Rodan was when the volcano explodes, and then you see the two wings
pop
out, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, and just seeing him flying, like I said, the embers coming off his wings, and just
we'll get into the monsters.
All that monster stuff was great.
Yeah,
but yes, I do agree with you that the saving the people. It's fine.
I found those soldiers annoying. I found those soldiers very annoying. Like the ground soldiers. The only one that I didn't was the black lady with the shaved head, who's the commander of the whole thing.
I didn't think they were particularly bad. Like I didn't think.
No. That's it. I just thought they were very generic and. To be honest, the guy with the beard and the girl, his girlfriend there. I was like, they shouldn't have been
those
there.
were side characters, though. You can't really.
Those could have been replaced with anybody, and it wouldn't have really affected the story any. And that's my problem with it.
Okay.
The only one that I really liked was the girl with the shaved head, the black lady who took charge.
Yes.
Though it really annoys me in one scene where she has the Lannister guy in her sights, and she says, "Oh, you see this 3-inch pole in front of him?" And she says, "I don't have a shot." Yeah, I was like, can you just move like 3 inches to the left?
Yeah.
Or you could shoot him in the shoulder, which will force him to move and then shoot him.
Yes.
You know, like an actual soldier would do.
Yes.
But no, stuff
yeah.
like that annoyed me.
I agree with you on that.
Okay.
I thought the same thing when I was like, I was at that, but then when Ghidorah... I know, but then when Ghidorah showed up, then when they released Ghidorah, I'm like, okay.
I was literally like, just stand up and move 3 inches to the right, and you could have taken care of the entire movie. But,
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah. No, I agree with you there. Those are the kind of problems that I had with it too. But like I said, when the stuff gets really, really, really good, the brain just shut that off and just be like, okay. Because even with the side characters, I do agree with you. The bald shaved, girl was cool.
They're shooting fireworks off somewhere.
Gotcha. The puppy heard Godzilla scream in the background.
I know, he's heard him screaming plenty of times. He knows what Godzilla sounds like.
I feel like you get into a problem though where you try to raise maybe too much, like the side, like you were saying, like with the side characters.
That's actually my one of the problems that I was going to get to with the human characters is there's too many. There's too many. There should have been half as many. Like the Chinese chick, why is she there? Other than to show that she has a twin, to be a nice reference to Mothra.
Well, that's why. That
Like I'm sitting there like, she could have been the sarcastic guy that I don't like. But like, what if they just combined her with that? It would have made no difference.
But that's what I'm saying. Like the side characters, trying to beef them up too. I feel like you're maybe getting too much with like trying to beef up all the characters.
No. I'm saying get rid of her so you can bulk up just a few
why
characters.
Why not keep her and get rid of annoying, snarky,
Because annoying snarky
guy.
annoying snarky guy with glasses has a few lines that make me laugh. The one line
was it really
Asian bitch,
though?
Chinese Asian lady twin does nothing. So
you reference Mothra, which I would think is more
No,
relevant.
I don't give a shit.
Okay.
I don't give a shit about Mothra, which we'll get into that later.
Okay. That's fair.
We'll get into that later.
Okay.
But okay. I'm angry at that. But okay. So
you're not a fan of references, huh?
It's not a reference that I'm having a problem with.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The reference I got, and in fact I went in the theater, I was sitting alone the first time I saw it, I literally went because I got it.
Mm-hmm.
But a reference, just because you can do a reference doesn't mean that you should in place of a story.
I'm trolling you, I know.
Sarcastic douchebag with glasses.
Who feels like he was taken out of one of the Roland Emmerich Godzilla movie and just put him in here.
The problem is like the fact that he's snarky and everything like that, or kind of like geeky, isn't a problem. But there's 2 moments in particular that he ruins the scene for me.
Yeah.
Or he just takes me out of the moment.
Yeah.
One is my favorite scene in the movie, and that's when Godzilla is doing the intimidation display, and it's so quiet. And it's so eerie and so tense. It's my favorite fucking scene in the movie.
Yep.
But when Kyle Chandler's character, the father, says, "Lower the shields," like, "Oh yeah, what are you going to let him in? Have a beer? No, you an idiot." And I'm like, he shouldn't have said that. He just would. If he just, "Are you an idiot?"
Yeah,
would have worked.
Yeah,
would have worked.
I agree 100%.
Because Kyle Chandler doesn't.
Or just say like, "What?" Like,
no. Kyle Chandler doesn't address that. He just keeps going.
Yeah.
And that took me out. The other one that really took me out was when Kyle Chandler says, "My God," and then it cuts to him and he goes, "Zilla."
Yeah,
I'm like,
everyone complained about that one. Where critics are actually right about that one.
Yeah, I was like, "Fuck off!" I don't care. Like, I understand that he is literally supposed to be comedic relief.
I wanted to physically punch him when he said that.
Yeah, me too. Everybody in the theater, because the first time when I went to see it, there was quite a few people in the theater, and everyone went, "Ugh," like an audible "ugh."
Yeah.
But the only other time I had an audible happen in theater from pretty much everyone in the audience was in Batman v Superman. Let that sink in. Yeah, he annoyed me for that very particular reason. There are also some scenes where it's like the French lady who is Serizawa's assistant who dies when Ghidorah shows up.
Yes.
She has that scene where she talks to Kyle Chandler. Mm-hmm. in the Monarch helicopter, which by the way is the quietest helicopter I've ever seen, because they're whispering to each other in that scene, and I'm like, have you ever been inside one of those things? Have you ever? Like, I'm yelling and you would hardly be able to hear me. Details aside.
Movie.
Details
You're watching
aside,
a movie, Adam. I know you went to film school, but
no, I've been in a fucking helicopter. I know how loud it is in there. But
apparently
anyways,
there's
that
sound
scene,
in space too in Star Trek.
Oh
so.
yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that. Having that scene felt so heavy-handed with him explaining the backstory with his daughter, to the point that I was like, visually, it's done. You don't need to have that scene of him explaining it. However, to counter that, I like the scene with them in the submarine with him and Serizawa, the fortune cookie line.
Yes.
I actually found I actually found that pretty cute because it gave Serizawa a bit of a character, and also re-emphasizes that they know each other. And like that's Andrew's favorite line. He's like, I know, and like I liked that.
Yep.
That
was one of my favorite scenes too.
Yeah, I really did appreciate that. But that one in the helicopter to me was just needless. We already knew that he ran away, that he's kind of a coward, and that he's trying to redeem himself, you know, to get his family back, and stuff like that.
It was when the wife said that you ran away?
Yes. No. I'm talking about when the French lady, the girl who played in Shape of Water plays her.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Is into Helios after they just pick him up.
Right. Okay.
Which also, you probably don't know this, but I caught it as a reference, and I thought that was a nice bit of set design, which we have a section we'll talk about later.
Okay.
But when they're flying down into that underwater base, Monarch, and they're going down that tunnel with the Helios, that's a nice reference to Destroy All Monsters, the 1968 film. Just saying. Little reference. So the human characters, there are some really good ones, but there are some really forgettable ones that I don't think needed to be there. So that's my overall opinion on that. They could have been combined. They could have been condensed. So that way, instead of having weak characters for all of them, they have one character. I mean, multiple characters with weak stories. Instead of having that, you have one character with a really good story. Really strong story.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you there.
That would have been my opinion on that. So, fuck the human characters. Nobody watches these movies for human characters, right?
Yeah. Like, fuck.
So let's talk about the monsters. So one thing that this movie does immensely better than 2014 is actually Godzilla himself. Godzilla was handled very, very well in this movie. He's got a character. Well, all the
monsters have a personality.
I disagree. Well, yes, they do have a personality. But Godzilla and Ghidorah are the two monsters that they nailed.
Yes.
100%. Even Mothra, I can say that they nailed. Yes. Rodan, they missed the mark, in my opinion, like on every level. You have not, and I don't think
I haven't seen any of the Rodan
movies.
No.
Yeah, you haven't even seen Ghidra's first movie, have you?
I have.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
See, I would have made this movie more like that, in all seriousness, where it's like Godzilla and Rodan fighting, and then Mothra is like, shut the fuck up, Ghidorah, But, anyways, but I think they missed the mark big time on Rodan, but we'll get to him in a little bit. Let's talk about the good things.
Okay.
Godzilla was awesome.
Yes.
Godzilla's
100%.
always awesome.
110%.
He's
what can you say?
he's got a great character in this. Like, I just like the whole idea of, like, the whole intimidation display scene. My favorite scene in the movie.
It's amazing.
So fucking good. And
so
just
cool.
the lighting and everything like that.
So, because it's a great, like, suspenseful scene.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially from, like, an audience perspective, you're like, what is he doing?
Oh, yeah. Because everyone in there is just as, like, tense and confused as the audience is. And I really like that.
Yeah.
So I like Godzilla kicking ass. You know, this is unlike Shin Godzilla, where he's the definition of a giant walking tank.
Yeah.
This movie, this is the brawler Godzilla. Yes. This is the one that is going to punch you in the face, and I really like that
or stick a string in your face.
Yeah, and yeah, and I'm gonna give you this, and I like what Legendary Pictures is doing with Godzilla himself.
Yeah.
Because he's Gamera. And everyone's going to be like, what? And I'm like, no.
If
you watch the 90s Gamera movies...
I see what you mean.
90s Gamera, which is awesome, is a benevolent giant monster trying to save the whole.
Yeah.
And doesn't care about the individuals. Like in Gamera 3, he's blatantly murdering thousands of people to get these monsters.
Mm-hmm.
And unlike Superman, it's justified because he's a giant fucking monster. And not a human, or a, a person that can talk. Or
wait, you're not referencing Man of Steel, are you?
Nope, not at all.
Well, he's an alpha. I interpret this take on Godzilla as like he's the alpha male reacting to something foreign being on his territory.
Oh yeah. And,
going back to the alpha male,
it's
environmental
this
cycle thing.
The only reason why Godzilla does anything, and I love that they bring this up in the movie too at the end.
Yeah.
One of the characters says, like, I'm glad he's on our side, and then somebody else says, for
now.
now. And a part of me is hoping that in Godzilla vs. Kong, Godzilla turns out to be the bad guy. Somehow. The tables turn.
Or he's just mad that Kong didn't take the kneel before him.
Which I honestly think is going to be part of the thing, and I kind of hope it's not.
Because you really think that's the thing?
I do.
Godzilla's mad at Kong because he didn't take the knee?
Well, no, because they're clearly establishing they leaked this. They're establishing that Kong did not answer to Ghidorah's call because Kong doesn't give a fuck. So
my
thinking,
joke possibly is correct.
Yeah, your joke is possibly correct. Which I don't know is a good thing or bad thing. I do like Adam Wingard, the guy who directed Kong, so
we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. Though after this movie, I don't know how the hell Kong is going to be able to fight Godzilla and even remotely have a chance of living.
Yeah.
Because this felt more like a finale than.
I mean, he went full meltdown. He went meltdown Godzilla.
Yeah. He went supernova.
If that happens again against Kong,
I was like, how can you beat this?
Like Ghidorah has, he could.
Ghidorah can create a tsunami and can create a hurricane. And also, Kong can beat his chest really hard.
Yeah, exactly. Ghidorah can revive its head after getting bitten off,
which was cool. Yes. I liked that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like Godzilla is super OP'd against Kong. Like he has the complete advantage.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now Ghidorah, I really liked how each head had its own personality. The middle head was clearly
fighting each other.
The middle head was clearly the one in charge. The right head was
a troll.
Yeah, it was a troll. No. The right head was the one that was like really subservient and like trying to be the kiss ass to the middle head. And then there was the left head, who the middle head hates. Like I love when he just snaps at him. Like that's a little moment that I liked, and that's
when he pulls him by the ear.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's one of the benefits of mocap.
Yes,
is you can do shit like that, and the fact that they had an individual mocap face for each one of the heads, I think was a vast benefit.
Yes.
To bringing character out.
Yeah.
Within this, because as far as I'm concerned, unlike Godzilla, unlike Mothra, and unlike potentially Rodan, Ghidorah I'm fine with not having much of a character. Ghidorah works best, in my opinion, as the huge threat, the background threat that the story doesn't necessarily 100% focus on, but it's the backdrop threat that's constantly lurking in the background, driving things along. In Mass Effect, it's the Reapers.
Yeah.
Like in Mass Effect 2, it's the Reapers. They're that background force
totally see,
that's driving it. I think Ghidorah works really well as that kind of monster. Or Godzilla.
Yeah.
If you're making a movie where Godzilla's the villain, Godzilla works really well as that.
Yeah.
Like I watched Godzilla, ironically, Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah made in 1991. Godzilla is that background.
Yeah.
He's only in it for like 9 minutes.
Yeah.
And his presence is felt throughout the entire thing. And they do that with Ghidorah in this. I mean, Ghidorah drives the plot. He is the constant threat. We just need to know that he's the bad guy and he's trying to fuck shit up. Ghidorah works as that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because Ghidorah is essentially characterless.
Yeah.
If you watch any of the movies he's in, he's usually either being controlled by aliens, controlled by somebody else. Actually, most of the times he is controlled.
He was created by aliens.
Yeah. But yeah, I did. First off, one of the greatest designs for Ghidorah ever. I love Ghidorah's design in this.
Yes.
Mothra is the other one that I really liked. I really liked Mothra's updated design. Even the larva form, which I was honestly surprised that we got her larva form. I thought she was just going to be a moth.
Same.
I was happy we got to at least see her larva form.
Just some of those shots are just so beautiful.
So beautiful. Oh man, and
the
then of
famous
course
one from the trailer.
Yeah,
with,
and we get Mothra's theme on top of that. The
Yes.
theme that was originally written
and you
for
get
her.
Godzilla's theme too.
Oh yeah, and again, this
Every time he
shows
shows up, a lot of love and respect to the
Yeah,
Godzilla
absolutely.
mythos over
Absolutely.
the years.
And I will say this, all the guff that, I've given this movie in terms of its story and stuff like that, that is not directed towards the people who made this in general.
Mm-hmm.
All of these movies, including the 2014,
yeah.
there was definitely love
and respect,
respect and stuff.
Even
and,
I acknowledge that.
yeah, behind it.
Yeah.
Despite all those problems I have, the intentions of the filmmakers was
genuine and true.
Yes, genuine and true. And I really, to me, that honestly comes out. That really does come. Even in Godzilla 2014, there were moments where I'm like, that's coming through.
Yeah, that's coming from like a true
thing.
Godzilla fan.
Even in Kong Skull Island.
Yeah.
Which I do not like at all. Mothra and Rodan is where I start getting into the murky area. I'm going to talk about Mothra first because I did like her. Like the part where she crawls up on Godzilla's back at the end and like tries to protect him.
Yes.
I liked that. Yeah. But to me, that was too little too late. There needed to be one scene with no human characters really in it. Well, they could be observing, of course. But one scene where Mothra and Godzilla link up before the final battle. Well, probably before... It could have even been right after the Oxygen Destroyer, where they literally meet face-to-face and are in the same presence together. Okay. And there is a character moment between the two of them where perhaps Godzilla is like, I don't want to fucking deal with you. Fuck off. And then Mothra keeps pestering him.
Could I make an argument of when Mothra showed up after...
She doesn't! What the fuck does she do other than say, oh, there he is? There's no character there. She just shows up and says, it's there. And then the human characters say, oh, it's a symbiotic relationship. Don't tell me that. Show me it.
Well, they were communicating, technically. Like...
But they don't show it. No, they
did.
Don't. No, they
the
say
guy
it.
Booted up on the machine. And
That's not showing it. That's not showing it. That's them saying it. That they're communicating. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that they're a symbiotic. They have a symbiotic relationship. Okay. Show me that they have a genuine connection, a genuine relationship. Because when it happens at the end, it's too little, too late. If they had a moment between the two of them, sort of showing the relationship that they have, it would have allowed the ending to have more, her sacrifice to have a lot more of an impact instead of her showing up at the last second and then totally killing Rodan in an awesome fashion. It just would have had more of an impact, and that's
fair.
That was my biggest issue first viewing, was that if you weren't going to focus on the human characters, you got to focus on the monster characters, because there's a movie called War of the Gargantuas. That is, in my opinion, my prime example for the Japanese knowing how to make giant monster movies, because the human characters suck. They just drive the plot forward. It's the two monsters that are the characters. They have arcs in that film. Okay. That you can see them thinking. You can. What it even benefits because the actual suit actors, you could see their actual eyes, so they could actually emote. Okay. You could see them emoting and stuff like that, and I'm like, that's how that should have been handled. This should have been handled like that.
Basically showing like which monster was allied to which monster and all that.
And stuff like that.
That's fair.
And moments between where it's just the monsters. Yeah. Being characters, not fighting. Yeah. Being genuine characters. And that was missing in this. Because when we do get stuff like that at the ending with Mothra crawling up on Godzilla's back, which is a great moment. Yeah. It's lacking an impact, as much of an impact. Because that stuff isn't there beforehand. Yeah,
I guess I was okay with it because I do know, like, some knowledge of, like, the Godzilla Mothra history.
And that's a problem.
But, yeah, and to, like, a general audience, they're going to be like,
what's the impact?
On? Yeah. And I can see that. That makes sense. That's fair.
But that being said, I do like what they do with Mothra. I like the fact that she's called Queen of the Monsters. Yes. I really liked that. I even liked her in larva form. In fact, the entire opening scene with her in larva form, I just loved that, like, that's character, what she does in there. How, like, at first she's, like, scared and she gets pissed off. Yeah. And she's just acting in defense. But then once they communicate with her, I like how she even gets gentle with the human character. Even though they do the stupid Jurassic Park thing that they did in the fucking previous movie. Fuck that. I hate that trope so much. But, first off, they say that the radiation's coming off of her, too. Oh, they'd be dead. They'd be dead.
Movie Adam.
Whatever. In fact, when she's about to touch her, I'm like, you wouldn't want to do. In fact, your hand.
Her hand would be melting at that point.
It would be kind of it would be burning in
it would
very
be melting.
least. Yeah. I'm like, don't touch Mothra.
But movie.
I do like the stinger.
Have the emotion impact. Come on.
I loved her new design. I'll say that. I loved her new design. I love that they used her original roar.
Yes.
I even like the new one, the sort of the high pitched chirp.
Yep.
I really like that, and I like how they were able to mix it and everything like that. Another thing, loved how they managed to incorporate the original Godzilla.
The sound
roars.
design in this movie is severely underrated.
We'll get that a little later.
I
have an entire thing
I think
on
the
that,
movie
yeah.
Krampus should have won best sound design
Krampus
Oscar.
was so good
In sound design. I think this movie is close to being on the same level of being as good in fact, sound design.
Again, we'll talk about the sound design in great detail later, but it reminded me of Dunkirk. The sound design in Dunkirk, say what you will about the movie, the sound is
so
phenomenal. Good.
Yes, I agree with you 100%.
Ghidorah has never had a roar. His roar has changed constantly. Even in the 60s, his roar changes.
Yep.
So the fact that they
I like the original better, but they do
a
good job in this one too.
The cackling of the original one. There's something about it.
It's so good.
But like he's an electric. The logic behind the cackling is like it's an electrical monster. His hands dance around like he's down electrical
So it's like the
power.
voice box, like short circuit.
Yeah. It's like it's supposed to sound electronic, and so I dig it. I loved his roar. I loved his roar in this. Rodan. Rodan has a cool roar, but not in this movie. In fact, the first pulse.
I don't know Rodan. I only know. Like,
I will play it. I will make sure
there.
to play it in the podcast.
Okay.
The original 1956 Rodan roar, and you tell me that wouldn't have sounded fantastic in the theaters. But they redid Rodan's roar. They completely gave him a new roar, and to me that only lessened him as a character.
Okay.
Because in my opinion, Rodan could have been any giant monster with wings, and it wouldn't have made a difference.
I agree with that.
And to me, it's Rodan.
Because to me, like I said, my knowledge of Rodan is very basic. I've only grown up on like the Godzilla movies. And,
but you've seen Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2, right?
Yes.
He's got a character in that.
I'm just saying my knowledge of him in the history is very brief. So, but I do like the redesign of him. Like I was saying before, I like the ambers coming off of him and everything. I like his design.
Me too. Loved it.
But I do agree with you that he was kind of like a generic monster.
Yeah.
I do agree with you there.
I did like the idea that it's not like
he's a flying volcano. That's what I love about him.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Which is a reference to the original. The original Rodan, he dies in a volcano. He gets killed. In the original, I'm going to spoil it. Is that all right?
That's fine.
Yeah. In the original in the original Rodan, there are two Rodans. There is a male and a female.
Okay.
And they are in love, quote unquote. Like they're always by each other. In fact, when Rodan attacks, when one of them attacks, the other one, hears in distress, immediately comes to its aid, and they manage to live.
Okay.
The ending of Rodan, they find them in the volcano, and they cause the volcano to erupt to just incinerate them. And one of them has a chance to get away, and even manages to get out and breaks free. But the other one doesn't. The other one coughs and suffocates in the smoke and then burns alive. The other Rodan that got away, instead of living alone, decides to die with it.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, that's deep shit.
Wow.
and I'm like, that's character, and that's not Rodan. Rodan is even in Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster. It's Godzilla and Rodan are fighting like toddlers. In fact, that's what Ishiro Honda called them when he was directing the movie. He's like, these are toddlers fighting.
Yeah.
When they need to be focusing on something bigger, and I'm like, that's funny.
Yeah.
That adds character to Rodan. The idea that they hate each other. And then all of a sudden it's like they begrudgingly become allies, and then they become friends.
Yeah.
You see, that's missing in this. And it's not like
just
Rodan
a
doesn't
monster
have...
that just joins Ghidorah because he's just scared.
Because it's not like Rodan doesn't have character in this, in King of the Monsters. He does.
He does.
He's I called him the chaotic neutral, where he's just, he's just like, he shows up, and whoever's in charge he'll follow.
Right, yeah.
What did you think of the bowing?
The bowing. The bend the knee.
I don't know how I feel about it. I have mixed feelings because it's so...
Well, I thought it was kind of cool that happened, but Rodan kind of like being like, I was kind of confused that Rodan was just kind of like, okay, I guess I'll take the knee.
Well,
I was confused about his confusion.
Well, when he does it to Ghidorah, I was confused because it's shown on the 2014. They show it on a monitor.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that's another one of those cases where it should have been a big moment.
Yeah,
Rodan suddenly goes in front of him timidly.
Right.
Bows.
Yeah.
And
right.
Ghidorah, and that's when Ghidorah roars.
Yeah, right.
You know, that should have been a big moment
I
because then
it
would have added even more impact to the ending when Rodan takes the knee to Godzilla.
I agree 100%. That part is missing.
I will say though that scene where Rodan comes out of the fucking volcano.
It's
not only
great.
is it my favorite music track from the score, it's just a fucking great scene. Rodan flying over the city
and just obliterating everything.
Obliterates it. I'm like.
It was basically the tsunami scene of this movie.
The only thing that this movie lacks is when Rodan flies, he has this high pitched thing because he's supersonic. He has this like high pitched squeal whenever he flies over anything. That's just a natural sound. He sounds like a jet.
Yeah,
that's not in this movie. I'm okay with that because they have him like swooping up and then he'll like shoot up. That looked great.
Yep.
In fact, that entire dogfight scene,
the dogfight scene.
loved.
Yep. Yeah.
Which.
And then, get into Ghidorah and he just flies up like, oh, I'm not going there. Not going in there.
Yeah, I love that. Dive, 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 dive. I loved that. That was intense. It was great. My seats were shaking because of the theater. Like that was a great moment. That was awesome.
Ghidorah in the shadows.
That's a reason why I'm glad movies are still theaters are still a thing. Is because a scene like that is built for a theater.
Yes.
And that was
moments like that.
That was great, and like the shot of like Ghidorah and Rodan colliding and everything like that, it looked great.
Yes.
Even though we don't even see the fight that much,
we got enough.
We got enough. Yeah,
I was totally satisfied, and then Ghidorah ends up on top of the volcano. Great ending shot there, sending the call out.
And I feel like I'm going all over the place, but again, kind of going to the lack of character with Rodan and Mothra.
Yeah.
I wish they had more of a stance on the end. Like, you know how they just kind of show up?
Yeah. Yep.
See, I wish there was I wish maybe Rodan was there the entire time.
Your added scene of like Rodan like being timid and then takes the knee.
The knee. What if he literally just turns into like the assistant of Ghidorah and is like constantly there with him the entire time?
That's what they kind of implied with how everything
but it doesn't. Yeah, they don't really.
But with your added scene though, that adds to that because you kind of got the idea that Mothra and Godzilla. They tell us literally
that this is what's happening.
Are they like a thing?
They do tell us that this is which I actually like that line. Are they like a thing? I did kind of like that, but you know,
so you're contradicting yourself. That's what you're saying.
So they tell us that they're a thing, so we know that they're a thing.
They're a thing. Yeah.
I wish they showed us that they were a thing.
Yes, I agree.
Instead of telling us, but we still know
that they're
a thing.
And the same thing with Ghidorah and Rodan when they supposedly become a thing.
Yeah.
You know.
But I mean, like having Rodan a big moment, not just on the monitor, because with it on the monitor, the angle isn't that good. Because like, what is he doing? Is he just
see
like
it in the background? Yeah.
What's Rodan doing?
Yeah.
And it only makes sense
it should have cut to that scene after Rodan took the knee to Ghidorah.
Yeah, there shouldn't have been any human characters in that scene. It should have just been the monsters.
Yeah.
A scene with the monsters, which is what the Japanese movies have always succeeded at. Are scenes where the human characters aren't really there. It's just the monsters being characters.
Yes.
And that's not really present here, because every scene with...
But you can say they are, hopefully, American filmmakers are getting better at that, which I will say 2014...
Well, Pacific Rim nailed it. Pacific Rim did very... Well, granted, that's a very different kind of movie.
We're starting to get there, it seems like.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, first off, even Gareth Edwards was a fan.
Yeah.
And... you know, I think what they're doing is fine. It's just
they just need to spruce up
it needed a script
extra stuff,
behind it. It needed an extra push, which is the script.
A couple little character moments here and there between the monsters and the people.
But again, to kind of go back to that pacing thing that I mentioned, all of these problems, the movie does not let me dwell on it. Yeah. It just keeps moving. Well, that's a positive about the film. Yeah. That is a genuine positive about this movie.
Well, but here's the thing, though. Going back to what you were saying, if you split it up into two movies and kind of went at like a slower pace, would you have dwelled on those issues more?
If they did it 2 90-minute movies, scenes could have been added in to fix the problem.
True.
Because right now the movie's 2.5 hours, which is long.
That's true.
It doesn't feel like 2.5 hours, by the way.
No.
Yeah, I mean, this
Again,
is
literally
doesn't stop.
Like Rodan flying through that town or
the city.
The city.
Yeah.
That's literally the time. That's literally the clock.
Yeah. I'm like,
that is a visual representation of the pacing of the movie.
it does not feel, and that's a testament. That is an honest to God testament to everyone involved with the movie. Does not feel as long as it is, and that's a good thing. This concludes part 2 of this 3-part series on Godzilla King of the Monsters. I sincerely hope you enjoy. Make sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and make sure to follow us on all of our social media. The links are in the description below. And this is Adam Noyce of AN Productions saying sayonara, and stay tuned for part 3.